This meeting is being recorded.
Sir, I am formally welcoming you, and it is giving me immense pleasure to welcome Dr. Shri Dinesh Agarwalji, as well as all the participants and all the faculties present here, to the very first session of our weekly colloquium series. It is starting from today, and we'll be continuing it every Wednesday throughout the semesters. This platform is designed to inspire, enlighten, and ignite curiosity as we bring accomplished professionals and thought leaders to share their journeys and insights. So to kickstart this exciting series, we are honored to have Mr. Dinesh Agarwal, who is an esteemed alumnus from 1981 batch of our institute. So, sir, I am extending your warm welcome to you and to all the persons or the students, faculties present here. So, handing over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratibhaji, and good afternoon, Professor Ramana Reddy, all the professors attending the colloquium, and all the dear students of NIT Kurukshetra, which used to be called RDC Kurukshetra when I was studying there. So we used to be all Rekas, and you're all now Nitkars. And I'm so impressed to see the auditorium in which all of you are sitting. It shows how long way the college has come. And it's always a challenge to be the first one, to start off with an initiative like this, a colloquium in this case, because there is no set template. So I have just tried to put some of my thoughts together in a few slides, assuming that's something which you would be interested in knowing. It's also, in a way, a reflection of the journey that typically happens with many of us, or most of us. But before I start, I would like to congratulate people who have conceptualized this colloquium. I think it's a great way of not only bringing the perspective of the experiences that various alumni have experienced over the years, the decades of their work across the various industries, but also it is a great way of creating network and connects with the alumni. And I think this is something which at NIT Kurukshetra we really need to strengthen, because world over, institutions, colleges, universities have become strong because of their network of alumni, right? The alumni do work in various fields, and then they come back to their alma mater and they contribute both monetarily and also in terms of ideas and opportunities. So I really recommend that this initiative should be continued with all its earnest, and I think we as alumni will be most happy to do whatever we can. So with this, let me start my deliverance. But before I do, let me also clarify: I'm not the first speaker because I'm a great achiever or something. There are many people including in my batch, who are much larger achievers than me. In fact, we have some people already logged on to this call today. I mean, people like Roger Anil Kumar, for example, who asked me to do this colloquium. I consider him as a great achiever because he has created a company from scratch, the Case Group, which employs hundreds of people today. They build cooling towers, they build gasifiers, coal gasifiers. They've done over 1,000 projects in India. We have Rajkumar Suneja, who has been working with the auto industry for such a long time. And his son, who's also an REC Kurukshetra alumni or NIT Kurukshetra alumni, has created a lighting company, an LED lighting company, which is doing so well. I can go on and on. Sushil Bansal, who's on this call, he heads the delivery at HCL Infosystems. So there's a plethora. There are so many achievers from our institution. And I think before I begin, I think they all deserve a round of applause, a round of clap from all of us. So getting on to my deliverance, I chose to talk about evolution because I think, while we all think that having come into an engineering college and you completed our graduation from here, perhaps, we have evolved ourselves into an engineer and our life is set. But life never stops, right? Life keeps evolving. A lot of factors come into play. These could be your personal factors. These could be the opportunities. These could be the kind of companies that you join in. These could be the career path that you choose after this. All of that determines where the life path, where the career path takes you as you move ahead in the journey of life, right? So, like the life form, what is evolution? So evolution, as you know, the biological definition is the process through which the living organisms change over successive generations, right? I mean, all of you know how life form has evolved on Earth, right? You all have read the Darwin's theory of evolution, the survival of the fittest, right? Now, the philosophical interpretation of evolution is that it's a process by which life diversifies through time, and change is very necessary. You have to diversify. Diversify by the mechanisms like natural selection, leading to the incredible variety of life forms as we see today. It's a dynamic, ongoing process which continues to shape life on Earth. So this is something which is applicable to you as well as you go through your career, as you go through your journey of life. You will see yourself evolving, taking different shapes and different forms. So it's an ongoing process because the world is changing so dynamically. The world is changing dynamically in terms of technology innovations, in terms of how the economies are evolving, how the consumer needs and wants are changing. So you will also have to change as per how the world is evolving. Right? So if I again equate the biological mechanism of evolution to the various ways how an engineer could evolve, right? So mutation, right? Biological organisms change through mutation, through the changes in the DNA. So today you are an engineer, you decide to do MBA immediately after passing out. And then in the MBA, you choose to take finance as your major, right? Now, this is a mutation because from a technical person, from an engineer, you have become now a finance professor, a professional. And this happens in hundreds. Every year, there are hundreds of engineers turned into financial professionals who are passing out, joining financial institutions, joining banks, joining private equity companies. I'm not saying that their engineering goes waste. The engineering does come into play because it helps them understand the companies much better. But essentially, they have mutated, their genes have changed, they become a finance professional. And believe me, many of them end up doing much better than people who have a chartered accountancy background or a finance background, right? Because an engineering brain is already logical. right? It is calculative. And that's why they become very natural finance professionals. Now look at the second way of how the change happens, the gene flow, where genetic variation from one population changes to another. Now, a good example of that is software. Over the last 3 decades or more, we have seen how engineers from various backgrounds, it could be a civil engineer, it could be an electrical engineer, it could be a chemical engineer, how they transformed into software developers, into coders, into very effective software engineers, right? Again, I'm not saying that their civil engineering or their chemical engineering has gone waste. Those fundamentals sometime in the course of the life would come in handy. But essentially, what has been used is their calculative mindset, their ability to think laterally, their ability to calculate, their ability to think 10 steps ahead. So those are the traits which have got used, but they've got mutated. They've changed. The genes have changed. From being a civil engineer to a software developer. A genetic drift, right? A random fluctuations in the allele frequencies. If you remember your biology a bit, right? So some of these alleles can change, and which can cause change in a small set of population. I mean, you have seen in the humankind also there are a group of people which have a certain characteristic, and those characteristics have happened because of the kind of atmosphere that they live in. Maybe they live in a very, very hot atmosphere, and their skin has evolved accordingly to take care, to thwart the high sun, the high heat there. So, these are the kind of evolutions which happen to all of us. As the economy grows, there are phases of ups and downs. Any growing economy will have up and down. It's never a straight line growth for any country or any economy. Now, when the down comes, many of us fall into traps. Many of us at that point in time decide to take a change in our path of career due to various reasons. It could be financial reasons, it could be our own thinking, it could be because of the opportunities that offer. Now, this is when our career, which we might be taking as an engineer, suddenly might take a dip. I mean, you might suddenly say that, okay, my industry is going down. Now let me look at another industry. Let me, for example, get into stock market trading, right? So that is a deflection that happens in your career because of the circumstances. So that is the genetic drift, which may happen. Then you have a non-random mating, right? Now this is again a conscious selection made, but it is determined by the factors which cause you to take this decision. This could be, as I mentioned earlier, it could depend on the employer, the kind of employer you've chosen, right? Or it could depend what path you took in. Have you decided to become an entrepreneur? Or have you decided to work for a government organization? Have you decided to work for a mid-sized family-owned company? Have you decided to work for a multinational? Now, none of this is bad, but it does shape your future. It does shape your persona. It does shape your thinking, and hence it kind of colors the kind of professional that you shape up to be. So sometimes, there is an argument that joining a large Indian company or a very large multinational, you can get lost in the whole organization because you are one of the thousands of people employed there. Well, that's a fact on one side, but on the other side, the good part is you learn good things. You learn the best practices. You learn some global practices, right? And which are the ones which you then use further in your life. Whereas on the other hand, if you join a smaller organization, right? Maybe a family-owned company or a smaller Indian organization, while you may not get exposed to the best practices, but the advantage there is that you get exposed to many functions together because you face multiple challenges on the daily basis. There are not too many managers, there are not too many executives who are employed by the company. So as you gain confidence in the company, of the management, of the promoters, you get a chance to work on many areas, and you become multifunction. You build up multiple capabilities. Now the advantage is that you, after having spent, let's say, 5 years or 10 years in this kind of an organization, you are exposed to multiple functions. So you have become an all-round manager. You become, you got exposed to general management skills as well in a very, very short time. So, also that's the reason I said that, the kind of company you choose in the early part of career can shape up a lot of your future career for you. And then the last one is the selection pressure, right? The selection pressure, the various environment, factors which happen in nature, that forces the organism to evolve itself because of the environment factors. For example, if the area is constantly flooded, it will evolve itself to take care and make sure that it's able to breathe air, find a way. A plant will come out of the water and make sure that it is able to breathe. Similarly, you will be exposed to various kind of environments. Now, these could be your personal life. You may have constraints because of your parents, because of your family, because of your wife, because of your children. All these factors are going to influence you and perhaps let you shape your choice of jobs, your choice of career, which may be different from what you are currently dreaming of, right? But believe me, none of that is wrong as long as you have confidence in yourself, right? But these are the factors that happen. So what are your options after graduation, right? Very naturally, either you go in for an employment, you go into a core engineering job, or you get into a tech company, you get into a startup. Startup is a great employer nowadays. Or you go in for a higher education, right? You go for an MS stroke PhD, or you go for an MBA. Now, if you look at my slide, I've written in blue some names, right? And these are just some very, very few indicative names. I can assure you, in my batch, in 81 batch itself, there are hundreds of names I can take against each header. People who have done exceptionally well in their own fields, right? And this is where you should all be very proud of the alma mater, of the college that you're studying in. I mean, I've taken an example of tech company Sridhar, who was one of the first employees, one of the early employees at Infosys, and reached up a very senior position at Infosys. Now, is now based in the US. Sunil Gupta, he's not from our batch, but I'm sure all of you have heard of him. He's the co-founder of Yotta Data Centers. He's from the 1988 batch. And today, he, along with the Hiranandani group in Mumbai, are setting up some of the best data centers in the country, right? Now, if you look at, higher education, Vinay Chaudhary, who used to be my project partner, today is an authority on artificial intelligence. He's a visiting lecturer, he's a visiting faculty at Stanford. He's written some 23 books, on AI, quantum computing. He's also an executive director with JP Morgan, right? Anshuman Rajdan used to be my batchmate, and I could not ever imagine that he would go into academics. He used to be a great cricketer. He used to be in the college team. And today, he's an emeritus professor at the Arizona State University, apart from holding many other positions. MBA. So many of you would decide to get into MBA. Now, engineering plus MBA is a great combination. All of you know that. So the opportunity lies in the industry, consulting firms, service industry, tech industry, and so have you. Navinder Duggal, who was 1981 batch, went to IIM Bangalore. He's now the group COO of the DBS Bank in Singapore, a very high position to hold. So we are all proud of these people. Now, entrepreneurship. Now, you can all become an entrepreneurship. There's a great opportunity in the country for OEMs, ancillaries, suppliers of raw material or components, or supplier of technical services. I've named Roger, I've named Rajkumar Suneja, I've named Sushil Gupta. These are all my batchmates, and there are many more who have created jobs, who have created great companies which are thriving, and we should all be proud of all these people who are all NITKRs, and they're creating opportunities, they're creating businesses, they're creating great products, made in India. So, and they have made difference to various small towns, various small places, where they come from or where the development earlier was not there. Now, this is a social contribution that you make apart from the economic contribution. Now, when I look at the other option, which is the government, public sector, administrative services, I'm sure many of you would be considering that, but that's a state government, the central government, the PSUs. Now, here again, that whole notion about working in the government needs to remove. I would make a statement here that yes, all is not perfect in the government still, but we have come a long way. All those old notions about the government machinery not moving, it is moving. It is moving, and there are many people. There are many people from our batch, from our college, across batches, which are doing extremely well in the public administrative services, in the PSUs. I'm sure all of you know who the NTPC chairman is. Right? If I look at my batchmate, there is Ankur Gupta, who's the Additional Chief Secretary, Haryana. There is Rajesh Pandey, who's the Principal Chief Commissioner, Director General of Customs and Indirect Taxes, perhaps the number 2 position in the country. He holds that. Pradeep Gaur is the CMD of Railway Vikas Nigam. And there are many more. I mean, I can just keep naming these people. These are just from 81 batch. Across batches, there are many names who are senior officials in the PSUs, central government, and the state government. Now, if you look at the other option that you have, which is again a high potential area, is the non-profit and the social enterprises. So you could use your skills if you have that bent of mind of using your skills for social good, for improving education, health, or environment sustainability in the undeveloped parts of India. Now, there are great opportunities there, right? Provided you are dedicated, you are at it. The name that comes to my mind is Amit Gupta. I know him well. He's of 1990 batch. He's the founder of FunFirst Global Skillers. Now, this company is today training technicians for appliance repairs and across many other functions. And they have picked up people from small areas, undeveloped areas. They have tied up with NSDC, and they're doing some great job on skilling up people, right? You've all heard of Skill Up India. India needs skilled people. And as we grow as an economy, this gap, this deficiency will keep increasing. So there is a great opportunity for you to join the social skilling sector. And I'm not saying it is paying as well. It's not that you're just doing it free of charge or free of cost. So it really depends on, how your mind is conditioned. So as I mentioned to you, that we should be proud that many of our college mates are at the top of the corporate world and in the government, in technology, as well as entrepreneurs and in academics and social entrepreneurs. What is important is that you need to believe in yourself. You're second to none. Now, I'm saying this statement from my time back in the campus. We used to feel second-class citizens, if I have to use I can't think of anything else, but yeah, we used to feel inferior because we are in Kurukshetra, the guys in Delhi, the guys in Bombay, Bangalore, they are the ones who get all the opportunity. We are in a small place, far away from Delhi. We don't speak English. We speak, we don't speak fluent English. Hamara kya hoga? You have to get away from all that. None of these are they don't matter. What matters is your passion, your skill, your ability to work. In सब चीजों से कुछ नहीं होता है, right? This is the confidence you need to have, the belief in yourself. So language and location should not weaken your dreams. Dream big. You're second to none, right? When you decide your path ahead, you have to consider सबसे important है कि आपका passion और interest किस चीज में है. अगर किसी चीज में passion नहीं होगा, you will not be able to succeed in that area, right? Which part of engineering excites you the most? Is it the technical part of it, right? Or is it just the fundamentals of it? And, using that, you want to create a business. What kind of an impact do you want to make, to the world, to the society? क्या करना चाहते हैं आप? Do you want to make a social impact? Do you want to make an economic impact? You want to make earn money for yourself? Nothing wrong with that. That can be your objective. मुझे अपने लिए बहुत पैसा बनाना है, right? उसके साथ हो सकता है मैं सोसाइटी का भी भला करूं, लेकिन मुझे अपने लिए पैसा बनाना है. लाइफस्टाइल, किस तरह की लाइफस्टाइल आपको पसंद है? आपको वो कॉर्पोरेट लाइफस्टाइल पसंद है? It is not a 9 to 5 job. Maybe it is a 9 to 9 job, constant traveling. या आपको गवर्नमेंट की जॉब पसंद है जहां पे बहुत सारी अनसर्टनिटीज होती हैं, आपकी कभी भी ट्रांसफर हो जाएगी, नया मिनिस्टर आएगा, आपको उठा के बाहर फेंक देगा, किसी और को ले आएगा, आपको छोटी जगहों में काम करना पड़ेगा, right? Or would you like academics? Are you someone who likes to teach? Are you someone who likes to keep learning and pass on that learning? Or are you someone who is into research, right? Or are you someone who is willing to take all the unpredictability of a startup? ये स्टार्टअप वर्ड बहुत अच्छा है, क्योंकि सैलरीज, मल्टीपल सैलरीज, स्टॉक ऑप्शंस मिलते हैं. बिलीव मी, आई हैव बीन पार्ट ऑफ स्टार्टअप. मैंने काम किया है 3 स्टार्टअप्स में. इट इज नर्व रैकिंग. कई बार आपकी रात की नींद खराब होती है, सुबह 5 बजे आपको ईमेल मिलती है कि कंपनी बंद होगी, आपके पास जॉब नहीं है, राइट? आपके पास 4-5 महीने कोई जॉब नहीं होगी, राइट? Are you prepared to take up these kind of challenges? If you are, then yes, startup is a great area to work in, right? Or are you interested in continuous education? So education, learning is a lifelong thing. I'm sure ये आपने कई बार सुना होगा कि the only constant, only constant is the change. Like you have to keep changing, you have to keep learning, and in some areas, learning is critical for your survival, right? In the technology area, as all of you know, कि अगर आप IT technology में जा रहे हैं किसी भी area में, if you stop learning, you're dead. So IT में तो constant learning है. Similarly, अगर academics में जा रहे हैं, research में जा रहे हैं, there's a constant learning. Other jobs, it's not that you stop learning that. You should not, because if you stop learning, you stop growing, right? So there is a learning which is happening from experiences. There's a learning which is happening from the environment which is changing around you, the new kind of machines which are coming in, the new processes that are coming in. If you're not up to date with those processes, with those quality standards, you're dead in any case. You'll not rise up in your career. You might still not lose your job, but you'll not rise in your career, right? So it's a constant education. So you will have to consider these factors. ये सारे factors सोच के आपको decide करना है कि मुझे किस तरह का career चाहिए. So quickly, इंडिया में किस तरह की फ्यूचर अपॉर्चुनिटीज आने वाली हैं, जिस तरह से इकोनॉमी हमारी चल रही है, राइट? Many trends, as you know, you must be reading newspapers, magazine, online. Demographic profile change हो रहा है, technological innovations हो रही हैं, great initiatives, green initiatives are gaining the popularity. There's a whole lot of digital transformation happening in our lives, as you can see. Globalization, while India is becoming global, but India has to become much more global because the trade which happens between India and other countries will rise. India will become a net exporter from a net importer, and its relationship with most countries will increase multifold, not only just USA or UK or Japan, but multifold across multiple countries, including developing countries, including the BRICS countries, including the African countries. So all of these countries, so the opportunities are tremendous in any area you can think of as the economy grows. You have seen what has happened in the last 25 years. Much more will happen in the next 3, 4, 5 decades. You are at a very interesting phase of our country's cusp of growth. Because the country has just started taking off, and it has to go much, much higher in the next few decades. So there are opportunities, technologies in the emerging industries like renewable, in healthcare, education, because everywhere we are underfed. We don't have sufficient schools. We don't have sufficient hospitals in the rural areas. So there's a technology infusion which is happening there in terms of how to reach healthcare to the remotest part of the country. India is going to become, healthcare tourism destination, as you must be all reading. So again, huge opportunity in the diagnostic devices, in the healthcare infrastructure, and so on and so forth. You must be wondering why I'm talking of being an engineer. But yes, I mean, these are all opportunities. Application of technology into healthcare. So much of work is happening and yet to happen. Then there's a service sector expansion, hospitality, tourism, retail, the gig economy, right, which is your consulting, freelancing, all of the new areas, content creation. These are all individual, but you can start your shop from your house, right? You can start creating web content. You can start doing the e-commerce websites or microsites sitting at home and creating your own business. Then, of course, there's manufacturing, automation, public and social sector. Huge amount of work is to happen in the public sector, on the infrastructure side, on the defense side, and social I've already discussed. Then skills entrepreneurs, right? So India needs many, many more entrepreneurs. You need many more entrepreneurs, not just to create materials, sub-assemblies, original products, but to create innovative products. You need to create Indian brands, right? India as an economy will only become developed if it has many more international brands. Today, which are the international brands? Of course, you have brands like Hero, you have brands like Bajaj, you have really, I can't think of too many brands, but let's say Sarvana Bhavan, which is a restaurant brand which has got now a global presence across many countries. But we need to create many, many more brands across various product categories. Only then we become a developed country. Engineering. I'm not going to read out this in a detail because we have shortage of time. But these slides are already with you. So across all the fields, there are many opportunities which have a future potential. So depending on your interest, your branch, you could pick up, you could move towards these, whether it's software engineering, IT, data sciences, electronic is a great opportunity. I mean, all of you, I'm sure, will agree that's the next biggest thing which is going to happen in the next 2 decades. India will become a large electronic component manufacturing hub, which should have happened in our time, when we were there in engineering in the 80s. Unfortunately, but it's taken its time, but it's finally happening. So all of you who have an interest, who have a background in this area, you are sitting on a great opportunity there as India makes devices, as India designs devices. Civil engineering, again, huge opportunity, huge infrastructure investment happening, much more to happen. So ongoing opportunities, mechanical engineering, mechatronics, robotics, biomedical engineering, aerospace and defense, again, a big sector yet to happen, beginning to happen. Look at our defense exports. Look at the defense JVs that we are forming, with the European and American companies. All of this will fructify. There is a huge defense and aeronautics, aerospace park, technology park, which has come up near Bangalore. This is going to grow. India will become the MRO hub for the aircraft industry. India will become the design center for, aerospace components and equipment. So, these are all things which are happening in the country, offering huge opportunities. Chemical engineering, green processes, waste management, environmental engineering, industrial engineering, a very important point. I've worked in some large Indian companies which don't understand industrial engineering, right? And this is an opportunity which is beginning to happen. People are understanding the importance of industrial engineering, how it helps them streamline the process, bring in the cost efficiencies into their operation. So this is a great branch to go into and get involved in the operations. Telecom engineering, you all know. And then there are cross-disciplinary roles, right? Now, IoTification today is happening across multiple. It is happening in the consumer products. Alexa is an example of an IoT, right? It is happening in machine tools. It is happening in automobiles. So it is happening in a variety of products. So you need a mix of engineering there. So IoT engineering, is a great opportunity in itself to make smart devices, smart appliances, smart cars. sustainability engineers, again, it cuts across the various engineering fields. So, you have great opportunities there as, being a sustainability engineer. And then, of course, there is always an entrepreneur opportunity for becoming an entrepreneur or a consultant, as I said earlier. So what's really happening is that there are more specialized roles which are emerging, which are aligned with the global technology trends, sustainability goals, and India's strategic sectors, right? So engineers who can adapt to these changes, acquire new skills, apart from what you have been taught in the college, apply their knowledge across the disciplines, will be at the forefront of India's job market, right? So that's a repeat of the message what I said earlier. Okay, now let me quickly, take you to my journey, if at all it adds to anything which I've said earlier. So 81, 86, right? So ours was a 5-year course, right? And I was all set to go to the US. Going to the US, of course, was already beginning to be craze, if I may use that word. But I had a strong logic in my mind why I wanted to do that, and for some reason, I think I had understood the importance of industrial engineering at that point in time. I don't know why, how, but I had understood that. And I had also understood that India will become a huge hub for automobile manufacturing. Now, these are the two concepts which are there in my mind at that point in time. Maybe because my own uncle, my chacha, was working in Ford USA. So maybe some thoughts might have come from him, right? And I was all set to go to the US to do my MS in industrial engineering at the Arizona State University. Surprisingly, I also got a full scholarship. And this is where I'm telling you that your location, where you come from, does not matter. Now imagine at that point in time, there's no telephones, right? All your communication used to be on the letters, etc., etc. There was only one telephone, one post office, small post office in our campus. So all my communication with these universities happened through that post. And, I had a scholarship. It was how I put forward my case and my belief. And I had a scholarship to go to the USA. So it was a dream come true for me. But in reality, what happened? I ended up taking a train to Calcutta, right? Because simultaneously, fortunately or unfortunately, I also got into IIM Calcutta. So, with the peer pressure, pressure from my professors at that point in time, I took up the MBA at IIM Calcutta and dropping my US stream. So that was the start of my next phase of career. So 2 years at IIM Calcutta, and just as at the end of it, you look forward to the placement. Ultimately, that's the whole objective, to get a great placement from the IIM campus. So the first week, most of these brands that you see, these are the ones which people go for, right? So there's a huge competition for these brands. Everyone wants to get into a Hindustan Lever or a Procter & Gamble or a Nestle or a Citibank or a Bank of America. These are all the companies at that point in time, the hero companies of that point in time. And I did not apply into any of those, right? I was very clear, I'm going in for industrial marketing, right? And this used to surprise my friends. Most of them who came with engineering background, because IIM Calcutta predominantly has engineers background. I did not get a job till the last week of placement, right? And that is when all the engineering companies started coming in. And so on the same day, we had L&T, Granville Norton, Sundaram Clayton, and then there's a company called Forbes. While I did get an offer from L&T and Norton, I ended up taking Forbes purely for one example. For one reason, because the president of Forbes at that point in time was also from IIM Calcutta. That's all. That was the only reason. So I joined the engineering division of Forbes. And so the engineering division of Forbes makes even today, cutting tools of carbon steel, of high-speed steel, which basically are used on CNC machines. Or at that point in time, CNC machines were just coming in, but essentially for cutting aluminum, steel, etc., etc. So that was the beginning of my career. And while I had thought that I will leave that company within a few months, I ended up spending 12 years there. Now, this is where, again, perhaps there's a lesson that in every darkness, you try to see a ray of light. So I think the ray of light I saw in Forbes was that the company could use my capabilities, and I would perhaps have an opportunity to do many more things. If you remember, I told you at the beginning that you have a choice of joining a very large organized company and doing a bit of it, or joining a company which is relatively small or relatively not well managed. Well managed may not be the right word, but not large enough, not well structured, and you see an opportunity for you to learn and contribute. So that was an opportunity which I saw at Forbes, and 12 years where I stayed there. It used to be a Tata Group company at that point in time. Later, it was sold to Shapoorji Pallonji. I became a general manager heading their exports and marketing. And in 12 years, I rose very fast, and I think I was the youngest general manager, I was told, in the whole of Tata Group. So it was a great achievement. It was also very satisfying for me because I also conceived 2 joint ventures with an American and a British company, and we started manufacturing carbide tools in India, right? And so those products are being sold today, and they compete against the brands like Sandvik and NVIDIA, which some of you may be aware of. And I'm very proud of that because that's my creation, and it's still thriving. Now, then I took the leap of faith, as you can see in the picture. So I was at the height of my career. And in 2000, when this whole technology thing was happening, the Y2K projects and the internet was just beginning to happen. That's when I took a leap of faith from the top of my career, and I joined a startup company called Antrikshi Applications. So this company was promoted by the DSP Software based out of Chennai, and this was I think theoretically, it was the first cloud services company in India. I think I can claim that today, because at that point in time, we were offering enterprise applications on a pay-per-use basis, right? Which people had never heard of. And they were very afraid. The companies were very afraid that how can we let our data go outside our premises? But we managed to get paying customers. So Pidilite was our first customer. So we were offering Lotus Notes. We were offering an ERP called IFS, which is a Swedish ERP. We were offering Syncom CRM, Salesforce automation, et cetera, et cetera. So now this is where, if you remember, I warned you about a startup company. This company closed overnight, right? And as I said earlier, early in the morning, I see a mail that the company is closed down. Now, why it happened? Because the promoter got caught in a share scam along with Ketan Parekh. So the company closed down. I was without job. And a few months down the line, I then again took up a job with another startup company called Net4India. So this company was starting the voice over IP services in India, and it established a brand called PhoneWala.com. So phone calls to USA, UK, Middle East used to cost a bomb at that point in time, like 200 rupees a minute, 300 rupees a minute. And through voice over IP, we brought down the calls cost to 20 rupees a minute, 10 rupees a minute. So it was it was revolutionizing. Then I continued with Net4 for some time with the data center services, voice over IP services, etc. So not going too much into my details of my career, but this is how my path panned out. So for 12 years, I was Forbes & Company, Forbes, that was an engineering company, then into the cloud services, then onto Net4India. And then I decided to get back into manufacturing. I thought that is my core. While technology was still happening, But because I had two bad experiences at Antariksh, and Net for India also, was not doing so great. I decided to get back into manufacturing, and I joined Anchor Electricals when it was still a family-owned company, where I worked for 2 years, and then I joined Voltas, which is a Tata Group company again, to start a new division of theirs for food processing equipment and refrigeration. Meanwhile, Anchor got acquired by Panasonic, and in 2008, Panasonic approached me to come back to Anchor, and that's how my journey started at Anchor Electricals once again. So Anchors, as you know, was a household name for switches. It was a company started in 1963 by two Gujarati gentlemen who created a very strong brand. And in 2007, they sold it to Panasonic. For Panasonic, this was a very important acquisition. In fact, it was the largest Japanese acquisition at that point in time because they paid $400 million for it. And they wanted to create a base in India and also use this base for exporting into the other countries in the Middle East and Africa. So this company went from 670 crores to about 4,700 crores, when I retired at the age of 58 in 2022. But apart from the revenue and bottom line, what is important, what I'm proud, what I'm proud of is the fact that the culture that we created in the organization, the values that we created in the organization, the governance structure that we created in the organization, the compliances that we had there, is something which Panasonic is proud of. And Anchor is actually, as they call, a jewel in the crown of the Panasonic group. It's a very highly profitable company today, and it is also exporting its products to Middle East and Africa. And they have introduced many new categories, including solar, modular kitchens, etc. So this was my journey of 14 and a half years, post which then I joined a company called RR Cable as a CEO to basically grow their certain categories of cables, the categories like lighting, fans, professional lighting, switches and switchgear, and more importantly, to have the company listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange and the National Stock Exchange, which was done in September 2023. And also we started diversifying into the other areas. At present, what do I need to do? Has my journey ended? The answer is no. So I'm a strong believer in this lines of Robert Frost, which says the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. So I'll keep looking for opportunities where I can make a difference to people, to organizations, because I'm a strong believer in India's future. And whatever contribution I can make at my end, I will continue to do that. So thank you very much. And I'll be happy to answer if there are any questions. And this presentation, as I said, I have already shared with the college. Thank you.
Hello, sir. Can you listen to me?
Yes. Yes.
So, what are the potential future trends in engineering and technology that students should prepare for?
So, Sanidhya, as as I explained, let me just go back into that slide on engineering. तो अगर आप किसी भी इंजीनियरिंग के फील्ड में देखेंगे, there are a few areas which stand out, right? जैसे obviously software में it is AI and ML undoubtedly, क्योंकि not only in the various applications but also in the manufacturing, for example. We know that the companies are looking at industry 4.0, smart manufacturing, where the machines will talk to each other. तो अगर आपने लाइन के ऊपर शेड्यूलिंग करनी है तो you're not waiting for someone to schedule the machines कि इसकी इनपुट आई, उसके बाद आपने स्प्रेडशीट पे कुछ काम किया और फिर उसका इनपुट आपने दूसरी मशीन को दिया. They will all communicate to each other, right? So that is what the machine language is all about. And then the edge computing के आज जो है, for example CCTV cameras हैं, तो आज काफी हद तक जो है कंप्यूटिंग बैकएंड पे होती है कि अगर मेरे को कोई किसी क्रिमिनल का, सैफ अली खान का अटैकर कौन है, राइट, उसका अगर मुझे जानना है तो मैं अपने बैकएंड कंप्यूटर पे चेक करता हूँ, उसका इमेज को मैच करके देखता हूँ. लेकिन अगर वही कंप्यूटिंग काफी अगर उसके एज पे हो जाए, वो कैमरा एंड पे हो जाए, the things the things can do much faster. For example, सपोज उसी कैमरा के ऊपर इंटेलिजेंस है और कल को मेरे उसके अंदर फेड इन है कि ये लोग इस एरिया के आसपास नहीं दिखने चाहिए, अंदर नहीं आने चाहिए, मे बी इट विल साउंड एन अलार्म, राइट? So these are the kind of applications which are possible. Similarly, अगर आप मैंने इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स का आपको बताया, सेमीकंडक्टर, चिप डिजाइन, चिप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, solar related or wind related specialists, then on civil engineering, manufacturing with least possible waste, green construction, as they say, materials which are less destroying to the environment. So हर एक engineering के अंदर you have to look at the areas which are going to be of so mechanical engineering, yes, your core mechanical engineering requirement है, लेकिन उसके साथ आप जो है इनकमिंग एरियाज ऑफ ऑटोमेशन कैसे आप उसको इंटरट्वाइन कर सकते हो, राइट? रोबोटिक्स में, मैकेट्रॉनिक्स में कैसे आप इसको इंटरट्वाइन कर सकते हो. दोस आर द एरियाज दैट यू नीड टू look at and create an opportunity for yourself, right? And मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि आप कॉलेज से निकलेंगे और इन सब चीजों में आप माहिर हो जाएंगे. You have to build your, because these are all areas that you will have to expose yourself as you move into your career, right? तो आपको उस डायरेक्शन में चलना है और गेन करना है एक्सपीरियंस.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. This is Tarun Pant, freshman, mathematics and computing.
Hi,
Sir, my basic question was, like, in around 2000s, there was a boom in portable devices, and that somehow did change how the industry worked. So right now, what we are hearing that AI is the major boom. So I wanted to ask, when we as students reach your age, like, what could be the implications of AI at that point, and how to optimize ourselves to overcome and to match the same?
So तरुण, मेरी एडवाइस ये रहेगी कि जितनी भी साइंस फिक्शन की मूवीज हैं और बुक्स होती हैं, जस्ट कीप रीडिंग देम, इफ यू आर कीन, बिकॉज आज आप जो भी इमेजिन कर सकते हो ना, it's all happening, it's all possible. Like if you imagine ke aaj and this is already happening, right? I've seen it with my eyes that you have a patient in a remote area of India who is being remotely monitored for all the vital parameters, and surgery for blockage on his heart is to be conducted, right? Now that patient does not have to travel to Delhi for that surgery, right? He can go to a nearest town where there's a robotic, equipment available, a surgical knife, which is being remotely operated by a senior cardiologist in Delhi, right? वो उसके डायग्नोस्टिक्स उसको रिमोटली कर रहा है, वो उसको देख रहा है कि कहाँ पे ब्लॉकेज है, उसको रिमोटली उस नाइफ को ऑपरेट कर रहा है और सर्जरी रिमोटली कर रहा है. नाउ दिस इज नॉट अ साइंस फिक्शन, इट इज एक्चुअली हैपनिंग, I've seen this equipment in the Philips lab in Bangalore, right? So you have to just imagine कि कल को आप जो है अपना लैपटॉप जो है आप एक छोटी सी डिवाइस पॉकेट में कैरी करोगे, फोल्डेबल स्क्रीन होगी, फोल्डेबल कीपैड होगा, आप कहीं पे भी बैठ के उसको आपका जो प्रोसेसर होगा छोटा सा पाम साइज का होगा, and you will be able to project the screen anywhere and your keyboard anywhere and start working. So you have to just keep imagining. So all these technologies, you have to see what is the end objective. क्या करना है आपको, क्या achieve करना है end objective, right? So if you ask me कि 50 साल के बाद या 40 साल के बाद क्या होगा टेक्नोलॉजी, और जो आपने शायद मूवीज में देखा है वो सब पॉसिबल होगा. जो ट्रैवल है कि मेरे पास पर्सनल डिवाइस होगी, मैं सीधा अपनी विंडो से उस डिवाइस में बैठूंगा और उड़ के चले जाऊंगा. Now, you know that the personal transportation vehicles, drones, personal drones are already being tested, right? The question is of affordability. कि आज के डेट में is that affordable? The answer is no. Is it legal yet? And the answer is no. Will it be legal in the future? The answer is yes. Will it be affordable? The answer is yes. Right? So yeah, so that is that. So there's no end to technology development or evolution.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your words.
Okay, so if there are any questions that you have, anything related to your career, how you may want to shape up your career, what could be the opportunities, what could be the pros and cons, I'll be happy to answer them. I will share my email with Pratibha ji. She already has it actually, but yeah, let me share that. And I'll be most happy to answer any of your queries at any point in time. Yeah. So once again, it's a great initiative, and I wish this Wednesday colloquia the very best. And as I said, there are many, many more bigger achievers than me who are already on the call today and who are all over the world from NIT Kurukshetra. And I wish that they come and share their thoughts with you and tell you that what a great institute you are studying in and what a great world of opportunity lies ahead of you. So I once again thank Professor Ramana, all the professors, and Pratibha ji for organizing this, and all the students who are involved in this organizing this. Wish you all the best. Have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.